All right, so we just got this new pack in. This is the Akek, it's the 5400 pack. We're gonna see what they sent us over here for a review and some testing on some product comparison videos. So go ahead and open it up, see what we got here. So this is the Climax 5400 pack. Pretty lightweight right off the bat. One thing I noticed here, we got the frame that's actually exposed. You can see it, so that's a little bit different. It'll be interesting to see how well this padding is with the frame the frame exposed on it. See how comfortable it is. Looks like we got plenty of storage pouches, hip belt pouches. We're gonna be testing this out the next couple of months and potentially taking it on our next elk hunting trip. So we'll let you guys know what the testing results are, but for now we got some homework to do.
All right, so before I start showing you a lot of the different features of this pack, I thought that one of the most asked questions that you guys probably had out there was, what in the world does the word Akek mean, and how do you pronounce it? So just like I said there, Akek, as far as I understand, is the way to say it. And the company, according to their website, Akek means strength, and the logo is tied to a bison. So just to settle up a little bit of confusion there at the beginning that somebody might be wondering what that means, that's the meaning for you. So if you want more information, go to their website. And if I go over anything in this video that doesn't sound right, I'm not an expert on the pack. I haven't used it a lot yet. I've tested it the last couple months back and forth, and I've gotten more familiar with it, but I'm still not an expert and I haven't made a big trip with it yet. But they do have a really good channel as far as different videos that go out and explain the breakdown of the pack, and there's a good chance that I have something screwed up in here. So go ahead, visit their YouTube channel, and if you're really considering purchasing it, that's the place to go in and ask your more detailed questions. But for this, it's going to be just a pretty much a general overview, and then some of my thoughts in comparison to like Exo Mountain Gear and Sitka's Mountain Hauler, Mystery Ranch, Marshall, packs like those that I've had a little bit of experience with, and just kind of how they compare, and if this is a doable bag as far as for somebody that's looking to go elk hunting or take a trip for 4 or 5 days in the backcountry or more. So for this video, I've got the bag loaded down with a lot of gear that I'm going to end up taking on the trip. And I've also got a 40-pound or so concrete block covered with a blanket that's strapped to the carbon fiber frame. So I wanted to fill it out and at least give it a little bit of shape. So we'll go ahead and start out with talking about the lumbar support pad that's in the back. It's a pretty beefy pad, nice and thick. And I can tell you, I haven't had this thing digging into me where I notice that it's hurting around the hips or around the backside there. So it's doing a good job with the padding, and it's also got some sort of, I don't know if it's rubber or plastic coating that kind of goes in like a zigzag pattern that helps to keep the bag. It gives you a little bit of friction. It helps keep that support pad in place, and it keeps it from trying to slide down your back. But a nice pad on the backside. And the waist straps also have pretty good padding on them. I haven't noticed any pinching as far as digging in on those. So pretty good start so far with the support around the waist. And then we'll go into the hip pouches on the sides. Now, one of my favorite parts about this is actually that both of these pouches come attached to the bag. A lot of other companies, you're going to be required to buy these as accessories, but these are removable, and they come with the bag, so that's pretty sweet. And then something on the inside of these that's really cool is you've got room for rifle rounds, and those are also removable. So right now I got my rangefinder in there, but I'll have different, probably camera batteries and accessories, maybe my held release and stuff like that for my bow. But if you're a rifle hunter, this is a pretty sweet setup. Now for the straps that go up around your shoulders, they are attached with a little bit of Velcro, and then there's like a little keeper, a plastic piece that goes in some of those slots you see up there, and it is adjustable, so you can move it up. I believe there's 4 or 5 different adjustments on it, but there's plenty of room for it to slide up and down, and it's really simple to adjust, so that's a plus. But you can see I've got my water bladder attached here, and I just like to run it over the shoulder and through one of the keeper straps. But on the outside, we'll go ahead and flip it around here, and I've got an accessory pouch that comes with the bag, and you can see they've got a little bit of a different keeper system, and that's something that's different about this bag that I've never seen before with other systems. A lot of them use buckles, but these have, I don't even know what you call them. They're pretty simple. I didn't understand when they came in how to operate them, but once I first got one open, they were really simple to operate. And in my opinion, they're not, I wouldn't say they're better than buckles as far as ease of operation, and it's taken me a little bit to get used to doing the opening motion and the closing motion on them, but they are quieter. So if you're looking for a completely silent mechanism to strap things and take accessories off and stuff like that, then this is the right way to do it. So now that I got the lid opened up, I'll go ahead and start unstrapping some of the stuff on the front and get in a little bit to the accessory pouches and stuff. You can see I got some dude wipes here in this big, it's like a C-shaped zipper, or an L, an upside down L, but plenty of room in the front for different accessories to go in there. And then one thing you're going to notice about this bag is it just has a ton of different places to store things. And if you're comparison with Exo and Sitka and all those different brands, I would say that this takes home the trophy as far as different places to store things. And it can be a little bit overwhelming at times how many different places there are to store things. But you can see here I've got a buttload of stuff in here I'm pulling out. I've got all my food, I've got clothes, I've got a garbage bag in there, and there's also my sleeping bag coming out of there. And there's a couple different pouches on the inside. You've got a zippered see-through mesh compartment there. I'm probably going to store some additional water bladders and stuff like that. And then you've got a couple different bags that once again come with it, and they're strapped on the inside. You could move these around in different places if you wanted, but those are just a couple places that you could keep different things to keep organized. And another couple mesh compartments that you could shove a spotting scope down in, or anything really. You can really keep things in the internal compartment organized, and that's a good way to not lose things during your trip. Another awesome thing about this is that it comes with a rain fly, and the rain fly is built into the pouch that you see me pulling it out of here. When you're done with it, all you have to do is basically reverse it out, and it zips right back up. But it is removable from the inside, so if you wanted to say you want to cut down a little bit of weight and you weren't worried about having this cover, this is another good tool. And I think I might actually end up using this. Say if it's not raining, I might end up using it to store some meat on before you put it into the game bags, or there's a lot of different uses for that. So it's basically just having an additional tarp. But the inside of the bag is huge. I would say you could get 5-6 days out of it easy. And there's no shortage of space in this pack, and no shortage of organization. Up on the top, up here on that main compartment, you got another place to store different items like a wallet or keys or rangefinder, some chapstick, something like that. One of the best things about this pack, again, is the removable lid. And a lot of packs obviously have removable lids, but this one actually doubles down into a day pack. And as much as me and Jordan, if you've seen our hunting videos, as much as we argue and butt heads, this is a really good idea, or a really good feature of the Mystery Ranch pack that he has. And typically me and Nico, or whoever is going hunting with us, we carry around like our Exo pack, and it doesn't break down into a smaller day pack. So we'll end up emptying a lot of our contents into our tent and trying to turn it into a day pack, but we're still carrying around a fairly heavy pack. Whereas with these like Mystery Ranch and this Akek pack, you can take these lids off, and they have straps built into the system, into the lid, to where you can take this thing along with you for a really, really lightweight pack, and leave that main frame back at the tent. Now, I would recommend carrying, your essentials like a knife and anything that you're going to need, maybe a couple game bags to get started cutting in case you end up way away from your tent, which has happened to us. But other than that, you've got a lot of good features of this lid. You've got more webbing on it. You got plenty of compartments. Really, you can't go wrong with it. So the lid is a really nice feature, nice piece of this bag. We'll go ahead and open up one of the sides here. You got a couple different buckles, able to tighten down whatever's on the side. Pretty typical of different packs. And over here you can see I've got my trekking poles. And then I open up this big U-shaped compartment. And I've got a sleeping pad in there. Maybe some stuff like a spotting scope again. And a lot of room for storage. You've also got a spot to put any type of like water bladder, or I like to put the ends of my trekking poles down in these slots. And one thing that I don't do very good of in this video is showing that this pack actually comes with a rifle or a bow accessory holder, so you're able to carry your bow or your rifle more easily on the back side of the pack. And I believe it also moves around. So if you're interested more in that, check out their channel and they'll give you a better explanation than I did. So that second side still has the same setup as the first side. It's the same exact scenario. You've got, I think, one more additional, like a rifle sling or something that I just mentioned to go into that, to help hold it into that pouch. But I'll go ahead and show you. You can remove the main pack from the frame here. It just slides over that carbon fiber frame, and I don't do a very good job unbuckling it and getting it off of here. This is one of the first times I've done it, but you can see I'm trying to point out how it works and how it slides over the top. So it's pretty easy to get on and off of there, and there's a lot of different adjustment and play in the straps so that you can relieve the tension or tighten it down. And it would be a lot easier if I didn't have all this stuff in the bag. But you can see there it slides over. Pretty nice, pretty neat fit. You can see a little bit better that the water bladder, where it can go into its own little compartment back there. All right, so now that I've got the pack opened up, you can see all the different straps, and these can get a little confusing. I can honestly say that this isn't the simplest system I've ever seen as far as the number of straps and the length of them. It seems like they're kind of in the way a lot, but that's coming from somebody who hasn't spent a lot of time with the pack. So if this was your main pack, then I think you would be all right. But just in comparison to other packs that I've used, it's a little more difficult to find out exactly what you need to be undoing to get the pack from the frame, off of the frame. So I am impressed though with the you got like a keeper strap here in a keeper compartment. I don't know what you want to technically call it, but it holds the concrete block or whatever you're hauling very nicely. It straps right over the top of it, and it does a really good job of keeping the load in place. And I have tested this extensively with this concrete block, and I've made several hikes in it, and it really does not move around. And especially if you're comparing this with the Sitka Mountain Hauler, like the internal frame pack, this external frame pack excels as far as keeping the load in place and not feeling like you're swinging things around while you're walking. So you can see plenty of straps again all over this pack, plenty of places to secure the load, and it's not going anywhere once you get that thing fastened down. I believe these buckles also lock down, so they're not going to slide on you. If you had something really heavy in there, you can see they're built a little bit different, but I believe they're made to lock. So this is a little bit of a demonstration here. You can see I'm going to try to put the pack back on over the load. This is similar. This is almost exactly how you would load it if you had something placed in that shelf there, in the meat shelf, and you were going to haul one out. So basically just bring the pack back up and slide it over the tabs that are on the frame. And you can see I had a little bit of trouble here, but I ended up going down below the pack, and there's a couple adjustments down there that I needed to make. So a little bit of user error here trying to get these things assembled, but I got it on there fairly quickly, and like I said, more time with the pack, and I'll have this whole system figured out a little bit better. But it does take you a little bit of time to get used to the different features on the pack. Let's go ahead and jump to the pros and the cons, and I'll give you an overall thought here after testing this pack out for the last couple of months. So the biggest pro to me is the price. The pack comes in right now at $597 with free shipping. And the biggest pro to that is that you get everything you need to hunt right away. You don't have to purchase an additional lid or accessory pouch or a rain cover. It comes with all of that. Everything you need is there, and it's going to show up at your doorstep with free shipping. Pro number 2 is the number of pockets and the accessories and the storage that are there to help you stay organized, and the capacity of the bag at 5,400 cubic inches. You're going to get 5, 6, 7 days out of this thing without an issue. So there are a plethora of places to put different accessories, and this bag is better than any of the others that I've mentioned earlier in the video as far as storage goes and organization. Number 3 is the waterproof bottom and the zippers. The bottom 6 inches is waterproof, so if you had to set the pack down in snow, or you accidentally set it down in a river, hopefully it's tied down, but if you accidentally set it down in a wet spot, the bag's not going to get everything that's at the bottom, like potentially your sleeping bag. That stuff's not going to get wet. And also the zippers, that's a key area that can get things wet on a lot of bags, and that's not going to happen with this pack. So especially whenever you throw in that rain fly, if you take that thing out and cover it up, you're really not going to have any issues. The biggest cons for me are, number 1, it's not fully made and assembled in the US, which is pretty common. The companies now like to say that they design it in the US and they do the packaging and stuff like that, and that we're supposed to give them basically full credit or a little bit of credit. I always think that's a little bit humorous, but it's very common for them to partially assemble it in the US or outsource a lot of the manufacturing, but I can't give them the full thumbs up on the fully made and assembled in the US. So that's con number 1. Pretty common with anything nowadays, but I thought I would mention it. Number 2 is I think that I would really prefer standard buckles. I like the system that's on there. I think it's just going to take a lot of getting used to, and I like how it's quiet. I feel like buckles are a lot easier, and it's just the way that we're used to being able to attach things. And I feel like there's just so many different places on this bag to get straps crisscrossed, and maybe it's just me and I'm making it too complicated, but I feel like for a beginner or somebody that's not going to use the pack often, you're going to find yourself trying to figure out where in the world this strap's supposed to go to. But like I said, that could just be me, but I just feel like there's a lot of different straps, and maybe it's partially the length of them. You can roll them up and store them a little bit better, but it seems like I'd never take the time to actually roll them up and store them. So the third biggest con to me is I think the padding on the shoulder straps could be a little bit beefier. I've noticed on the other packs, like particular my Exo, I think the strap or the padding on there is a little bit thicker. It's slightly more rigid, which sounds strange, and it sounds like it wouldn't be comfortable, but I also feel like the padding on like the Exo isn't going to wear down over time, whereas this almost feels like it's not thick enough, and it could wear down easy. I haven't had any issues as far as it being uncomfortable or pinching or anything like that, so I definitely think it's still doable. It's just, I think if they were going to go back and look at some of the design on there, it would be nice to add a little bit beefier, a little more rigid straps on the shoulders. So overall, this pack is comparable to the best companies in the industry like Mystery Ranch, Exo, Kifaru, Sitka, Kuiu, whatever. all those different companies. I think you need to throw this in the hunt, and you need to look at it while doing your research. Definitely don't just throw it to the wayside, because you're getting a lot of storage, a lot of organization at a more affordable price than the others. So the pack has a lot of great features, and I'm impressed with it. I'm glad they sent it to me, and we're going to be taking this thing on our next trip. So hopefully I'll come back with the update video here at the end of September, October, somewhere in there. And I would love to be able to test it out with some meat on the load shelf. So if you guys have any comments, go ahead and put it below, or if you got any questions, you can reach out to us as well. And like I said, go ahead and check out their website and give them any questions you have as well. They're able to answer them a lot better. They're experts on it. So I do appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll be coming back to you with a lot more videos here soon.